Mortgage applications edged higher last week as lower loan rates helped encourage more home purchases. The Mortgage Bankers Association reports its index is at its highest level since early July, but well below what it was a year ago. Experts say that 30 million American baby boomers will reach retirement age over the next 5 years. That could potentially have a pretty significant impact on the housing market, but what does this generation plan to do with its homes? How would it affect the housing market? Jonathan Fisher with Litigation Analytics says a surprising number of new retirees may just choose to stay put in the homes they're in. But Susan Wachter with Wharton Business School says retiring baby boomers will have a major effect on the housing market in some areas. Welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Professor Wachter, I'm going to start with you. How powerful do you expect the impact of baby boomers to be on housing prices in the coming, let's say, 2-3 years?
In the coming 2-3 years, they're going to help support housing prices in the communities they're moving to. And for these communities, this is a major impact.
Okay, explain it, sort of expound upon that thought. What do you mean?
Well, we are seeing the beginning wave, and we already have the pre-retirees who have chosen second homes in smaller communities outside, in the South and the West, outside the traditional retiree destinations, outside of Phoenix, outside of Naples. We're talking about communities in South Carolina and North Carolina and in Florida and in Arizona. And in these areas, they are the market for housing.
They are the market, Jonathan. That's what Professor Wachter says. She says they'll retire, move to retirement companies. What do you think?
Well, I don't think the retirement of the baby boom generation will have a big impact on the housing market. In research, the reason is just not a lot of retirees move. In research that we've done, the average individual age 65 to 79 who has home equity at the 50th percentile, meaning half people have more home equity and half have less, they've lived in their same home for 24 years. And that's true for people with less home equity and people who have more home equity. They've been in their home for 19, on average, years, up to 25 years.
And you're saying, Jonathan, they're just going to stay put, they're cozy, comfortable,
yes.
all the renovation and redecorating's been done.
Yes, the Census Bureau reports that only 4% of people age 65 and older change homes. People just like living in the home they're in, and so we just don't expect a large group of retirees to move.
Okay, what do you think, Dr. Wachter? I mean,
I actually agree with the statement that the average and the median will stay put, especially as they age in place and they get to the older years of retirement. But in the younger elderly, the yuppie elderly, are already choosing second homes and choosing to move in retirement communities. The percentage may not be large. It's probably larger than 4 or 5%. We're talking 10, 15, 20% of folks are either moving or choosing second homes. And if we have 10 million households out there doing this, it makes a major impact on the communities they select.
Jonathan, I know you've already stated that you would then disagree with the professor about that very issue, that they would even be going out and buying second homes. But how do boomers affect home prices in the future? If they're staying put, there aren't that many buyers out there as there might have been had they been out looking.
Well, there are still, there's still population growth, and there's still people out there looking to move, and there's always constant turnover in the housing market. It's the young people who are doing the moving, not older Americans.
Well, then maybe are we just, Jonathan, too far ahead of the game for this discussion? Does it make more sense to talk about this 10 years from now?
Yes, I think it's going to be 10 years from now, yeah, or 10, 15 years from now when the baby boom generation is in their 70s and looking to move into assisted living or living living with their children or as they pass away.
Professor, let me switch this over as we sort of finish up the conversation about using your home as an ATM. We've seen a lot of people tapping into home equity. Are boomers financially well off enough that they're not going to be interested in doing that as much?
There's actually a great divide. There are the boomers, prosperous boomers, who are doing this. There is actually a surprising number below median who have already tapped into their homes. And this means that those people who stay in place, and it is a large percentage, are actually going to be somewhat of a burden to their communities, and we need to start preparing for that.
Susan Wachter and Jonathan Fisher, thanks to you both for discussing the boomer effect. And Mark, we've talked a lot about that. It's of great interest to many of our viewers.
Yes. It's in great interest to some of us personally as well.
I knew you were going to say that.
After hitting new highs last week, shares of a well-known travel website heading in the opposite direction. Bob Boomer O'Brien. We'll have more on that and other stocks